Good afternoon, all of you.
Good afternoon,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Please take out your book.
Good morning, ma'am.
Ready, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you are ready?
Yes, ma'am, ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you all sitting with your book? Book है ना? In the previous class,
Yes, ma'am.
what did you learn in the previous class? Anyone? Can you repeat the question what you learned in the previous class? No one. I had asked you a question. Can anyone repeat that? Can anyone repeat that question? No one. All
Ma'am,
of you,
where
please.
want?
Yes, please repeat that question.
Ma'am, where want to go?
Your voice is not audible. आवाज नहीं आ रही है. I had asked you one question. Can anyone just repeat that question in the class? Unmute yourself. No one. This is how you go on wasting your time. ठीक है, don't blame the pandemic. Throughout the session, तुम्हारे मार्क्स की जहां तक बात होगी, तो you will be taken as an era of pandemic. ठीक है? 10th तो तुम लोग एग्जाम दे चुके थे, 11th और 12th के एग्जाम तक तुम लोग का नहीं प्रॉब्लम में आएगा. एवरीथिंग विल बी ओके. एक सिलेबस कंटेंट होगा, नथिंग मोर देन दैट. हर समय पेंडेमिक नहीं रहेगा, इसलिए ये जो एक्सक्यूज तुम लोग पेंडेमिक का लोगे, आई एम सॉरी, इट इज गोइंग टू बी ट्रबल टू यू. तो बी सीरियस बिफोर इट इज टू लेट टू वेंड. ठीक है? ओके, वी आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट दिस चैप्टर इन लास्ट लेसन फ्रॉम द प्रोटोकैनिक्स लिटिल प्लान. If I ask you what one word that you want to use for this chat, इस बच्चे के लिए तुम लोग एक one word कौन सा यूज करोगे? What kind of little child he was? Initially, he took life very easy, and he was not at all serious about his academics, even though he was carrying the profile of a student, and he preferred to move around, and other objects outside was more enticing, more enjoyable for him. But the same child, towards the end of the chapter, you can see, or in between the chapter, he becomes suddenly very serious and regrets what he had been doing regarding his academics. अब ये दोनों प्रोफाइल को, बिफोर एंड आफ्टर, इस दोनों प्रोफाइल को क्लब करके, what one word you will use for the child little friends? Anyone from the class? What one word you will use for the child? कोई बोल सकते हो क्लास में? No one. क्या कर रहे हो तुम लोग? 12B and 12C. I can see your name that has been those who are enrolled for this class. नाम तो दिख रहा है, बहुत clearly दिख रहा है. एक काम करो.
Ma'am, procrastination.
Yes, can you tell me one word?
Ma'am, procrastination.
Procrastination. It should be an adjective. It should describe little plans. It should be an adjective and describe little plans. There is one word. Little plans. Normal, happy, grow, lucky, child. इसलिए I have to use this term. ये हाइड्रोनेटेड वर्ड है happy go lucky क्या करता है you can use it even in your answer little child little Franz a happy go lucky child was completely oblivious about his own action that he had been doing by neglecting his academics ठीक है तो ये एक once you use such adjective for the central character what is going to happen the examiner will understand your understanding and what your opinion about the protagonist or about the character. Come on, let us come back to the story. Till what point did I complete in the previous class? Can anyone tell me? No one. I think page number 5. I have completed from your parents were not anxious enough to have send you to the mills. You come back to that point from where we will continue. Your parents were not anxious enough to have you learn. They prefer to put you on to work on a farm or the mill so that they can have little more money. So we know that the announcement that German classes will be taken in the schools of Albert and Loren has been taken by the narrator. And little Franz has sudden shock regarding the neglect of his language classes and his academics. Now, L. Hamel moves on to make the class a really purposeful class that very day. And he started blaming, he didn't start blaming, he didn't take the blame altogether on himself or on little Franz, but he also blamed the parents for not being anxious enough to send their child for learning and expected them to earn a little more money during that time. So, यहाँ पर तुम लोग देखेंगे how he blamed other also. And when I wanted to go fishing, did I not just give you a holiday? Then from one thing to another, M. Hamel went on to talk of the French language, saying that it was the most beautiful language in the world. And today I also agree, indeed, French is the most beautiful language in the world. The clearest, the most logical that we must guard it among us and never forget it. Or clear language है that we must not forget it. Next. And logical means very meaningful, very clear, that we must guard it among us and never forget it, because when people are enslaved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. The writer moves on to say that language, knowing your mother tongue, is somewhat like a state of being slave. And this helps you whenever you are in danger, whenever you are in crisis, in somewhere in a new place. That crisis, that sticking to your mother tongue will help you come out from the prison, come out from your crisis. Then he opened the grammar and read us our lesson. I was so amazed to see how well I understood. Very important line. I was so amazed to see how well I understood. The moment little Franz started to love everything, the moment little Franz developed interest, the moment little Franz understood his mistake, from that very moment, he started to learn everything around about the subject, about the know-how, everything he started to learn, and he started to appreciate, he started to love his subject and especially the grammar classes that once he hated. So एक बात तुम लोग जान लो कि it is always love that breeds love. Hatred can never breed love. ये जान लेना. If you hate someone, if you criticize someone, if you are critical to someone, that is never give in return. It will never bring love to you. It will only bring hatred and negativity to you. So if you want to get back love, the only thing you will get is the only thing you need to do is to practice love. I had never listened so carefully, and that he had never explained everything with so much of patience. It seemed almost as if the poor man wanted to give as all he knew before going away, and to put it all into our heads at once. तो यहाँ पर तुम लोग हमको लिस्ट करोगे कि in the last class सीक्वेंस में अभी लिस्ट करोगे अभी तक फर्स्ट क्या किया उसने सेकंड क्या किया, थर्ड क्या किया. अब तुम लोग फोकस करोगे थोड़ी देर के लिए एम हैमल पर. एंड सिंस द चैप्टर इज टाइटल्ड एज लास्ट लेसन, focusing on M. Hamel, what he did in the last class that became the most wonderful class, and therefore it is the title is apt. तो यहाँ तुम्हारा सीक्वेंस में दिया गया है और सीक्वेंस में तुम लोग बताओगे what we went on doing. चलो जल्दी बोलो तुम लोग. अगर सुने सबसे पहले उसने क्या किया, एम हैमल नंबर 1, because that day was a very important day as he made the class. तुम लोग अपने आप को अनम्यूट नहीं कर पा रहे हो. Are you unable to unmute yourself? Loudly. Unmute yourself and let me know. Yes. And let me know. Number 1, what did he do? That was something different from everyday class. Number 1. जल्दी बोलो. नहीं मालूम है? बुक देखो, बुक हाथ में है ना? Do you have the book? The first day, it's not scored. Next, number 2, what did he do? What is wrong with you all? Why you are not paying, speaking out?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What did next? What next he did?
The old man pay gratitude.
Loudly.
The old man paid gratitude.
Gratitude नहीं. First तो उसने scold नहीं किया. Second, he blamed. He did not blame one single person. He blamed himself, parents, and then little friends. Then next, what did he say about next? What did he learn? What did he learn? What did he say? That French was the most beautiful language. That means he glorified his French language. So French was the most beautiful language. ये उसने glorify किया. Next, उसके बाद उसने क्या किया? He led the importance of. He told the importance of learning French. That is what if you are enslaved. Importance of learning French. Okay. These were the highlights of the last lesson. इसको कहते हैं हम लोग highlights of the last lesson. तो ये तुम लोग देख लेना, इसको देख लो. Can you all see the board? Hey, can you all see
Yes,
the board?
Yes, ma'am.
दिखाई दे रहा है? तो ये
Yes,
जो
ma'am.
तुम लोग का highlights है, बोर्ड के जो highlights है, आज की जो क्लास के highlights है, इसको ध्यान में रखना होगा. Because तुम लोग का 2 important question यहाँ से है. पहला appropriateness of the title and what makes the lesson the last lesson. The day you understand. अब यहाँ पर जो उसका presentation तुम लोग का change हो जाएगा. अब यही तुम लोग little France के point of view से पूछोगे या chapter on the whole पूछा जाएगा कि what makes the lesson the last lesson. तो इसमें यही होगा कि even on the last lesson there was no respite for M. Hamel. He went on explaining the beauty of French language in order to convince the French identity holder people to understand the beauty of French language and learn it because it is very important. Since he successfully transferred the lesson to them, they understood the lesson and this makes the class the last class. This makes the lesson the last lesson of French language. आगे बढ़ो. After the grammar, we had a lesson in writing, and that day M. Hamel had new copies for us, written in beautiful round hand, French Azak, French Azak. They looked like little flags floating everywhere in the classroom, hung from the rod on the top of our desk. From each of the desks, it was hung French Azak, France Azak, it was symbolic. कि चारों पर ये फ्रांस एज़ लिखा हुआ है, it all tells us symbolic है कि एज़ जो है वो फ्रांस का है, जर्मनी का नहीं है. और उसके लास्ट डे इस बात का फाउंडेशन, he laid the foundation of it, and therefore today it is a French territory. You ought to have seen how everyone set to work and how quiet it was. Very important. How everyone, see how he beautifully imparted the lesson, that everyone decided to learn. जिस दिन निर्णय हो जाएगा मुझे ये काम करना है, decision, that is very important, and that very moment every citizen decided to learn the subject. They became very quiet and very attentively listened to the teacher what he said that very last class, knowing that if the teacher is not there, how will they learn the subject? Still, ये सब इस सच्चाई के बावजूद, they were very quiet and very attentive in the last class. The only sound was the scratching of the pens over the paper. People were writing, आता है नहीं आता है. फिर भी देख करके ये लोग कैसे भी फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज में लिख रहे थे. पहले इन्होंने बोला, फिर इन्होंने कंडेंस किया, फिर इन्होंने लिखवाया. कहते हैं राइटिंग मेक्स अ कंप्लीट मैन, रीडिंग अ रेडी मैन, कॉन्फ्रेंस अ रेडी मैन. तो ये बेकन का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन है, रीडिंग, राइटिंग एंड कॉन्फ्रेंस. पढ़ लेना इसको, बेकन का लाइन है, उसमें राइटिंग का भी इंपॉर्टेंस दिया गया है. नेक्स्ट, once beetle flew in, but nobody paid any attention to them. Not even the littlest one, who worked right on tracing their fish hooks, as if that was French too. On the roof were pigeons flew very low, and I thought to myself, will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons? So this line is very symbolic of little fans. वो सोच रहा है कि under compulsion, how can you make someone learn a language? Language should be free, because expression is free. And when expression is free, in what language you express yourself, that should also be made free. You cannot make compulsory any language classes, any language to any people, be it of any sect. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पर हम लोगों ने देखा that France जो है, little France इतना ज़्यादा गुस्से में था कि why such compulsorily German classes is taken, why the teacher is going back. Therefore, he was so angry that in an annoyance mood, he speaks out this word, saying that will they make them sing in German? That means will the German dominate the pigeons, the birds, the animals of the France territory, of the territory of Alsace and Lorraine? Will the Germans be able to dominate them? किसी लैंग्वेज को फोकस करके किसी लैंग्वेज को कंपलसरी क्लासेस करवाना is altogether an action of dominance. मैं जो लैंग्वेज कर रहा हूँ वही लैंग्वेज में आप बोले और वही लैंग्वेज में पढ़े. देखो तुम लोग को अगर हम थोड़ा एग्जांपल कोट करें तो यहाँ से तुम महाराष्ट्र जाओगे, वो नॉन हिंदी स्पीकिंग बेल्ट है, तो महाराष्ट्र में जाने से क्या होता है कि वहां पर एकदम मैंडेटरी है. इसी तरह साउथ में भी जाओ, बैंगलोर के बाद तुमको वहां का लैंग्वेज, मदर लैंग्वेज, स्पीकर लैंग्वेज को सीखना पड़ेगा in order to get a government job or in order to establish some company or some firm over there. ऐसा मैंडेटरी है. तो महाराष्ट्र में मराठी लैंग्वेज के लिए एक कंपलसरी है कि if you want to get yourself engaged in any kind of profession over there. तो ये है, this is prevalent in language को लेकर के आज भी बहुत सारे बैरियर्स हैं. इसलिए तुम्हारा इंग्लिश को एक इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेज बना करके कॉमन कर दिया गया है, बट दिस हैज नॉट सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम. तो इसलिए तुम लोग को लैंग्वेज का जो ब्यूरोक्रेसी चल रहा है, लैंग्वेज का जो तुम लोग का डोमिनेंस चल रहा है, इससे रिलेटेड एक क्वेश्चन रहेगा. अब इसकी तैयारी हम लोग करेंगे, क्लास में हम लोग डिस्कस भी करेंगे. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट, Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw M. Hamel sitting motionless in his chair and gazing first at one thing, then at another, as if he wanted to fix in his mind just how everything looked in the little school room. So at this time, what did we notice? That M. Hamel had been looking and gazing at everything. Such a teacher he was. Language was his, language had seeped into his blood. So much so that today he is having so much of difficulty putting away. Imagine a teacher, अब तुम मुझसे कहो मैडम आपको इंग्लिश नहीं पढ़ाना है. Definitely what pain it will give it to me is unbearable. और यही तुम थोड़ा सा M. Hamel की तरफ से सोचो कि today he is looking at everything so quietly just to keep the last memory of everything that he had been doing for the last 40 years. Is it clear to all of you? Next. Fancy, for 40 years he had been there in the same place with his garden outside the window and the class in front of the room. He had been there for the last 40 years. Just like that, only the desks and benches had been worn smooth. The walnut trees in the garden were taller, and the hawthorn that he had planted himself twined about the leaf. It was poor man to hear his sister moving about in the room about packing their trunks, for they must leave the country next day. और ऊपर से क्या आवाज आ रहा था? उनके पैकिंग का, उनके ट्रंक्स के, उनके मूवमेंट का आवाज आ रहा था, और they had to leave that place the very next day. ये सब तुम्हारा symbolic है, तुम्हारे ambience का symbolic है. ये सब बता रहा है कि कैसे environment जो है एकदम फ्रेंच छोड़ो. As Lawrence से टीचर फ्रांस टीचर को हटाओ, फ्रेंच छोड़ो, इसका एक symbolic environment प्रेशर पड़ा हुआ था. The country that next day, या country मीन कर रहा है living area को, but he had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. And today, what is the situation of little France? He had all the courage to listen everything very patiently from the teacher. After the writing, we had a lesson in history, and then the babies chanted their ba, bee, bee, bo, bee, down there at the back of the room. Old Hauser had put on his letters with them. He could see that he too was crying. His voice trembled with emotion, and it was so funny to hear him that all he wanted to laugh and cry. I remembered how bad it was in last lesson. So the memory is not only for the teacher, the memory is also for the protagonist, little Franz. That how well he remembered that little old Hauser who was holding a primer book. वो ABC भी नहीं जानता था फ्रेंच का, और वो जो है so at present he was present that day to learn the French class, and the tears that rolled down his cheek was symbolic of the gratitude that he wanted to pay to the teacher by his presence, by his tears that he wanted to give, was all symbolic that day. And all this event made it a memory not only for little Franz, not only for the teacher, not only for the citizens of Alsace and Lorraine, but while writing it down, अब ये सारी memory को एक story की form में लिख दिया, तो वो कितनों की memory बन गई. जितनी बार पढ़ेंगे उतनी बार ये memory कितनों की बनती जाएगी. ना beautiful ये ending है, ये story है. अच्छा, तुम लोग का कनेक्शन ठीक है, क्यों नहीं बोल रहे हो? Are you all learning the lesson? समझ में आ रहा है? Unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. आ रहा है समझ में.
अच्छा, then why you are not answering the question? Question का आंसर क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो? ये one sided तुम लोग जो हो ना learning को possible. देखो कल से तो question ही आंसर रहेगा. ये सारे लेसन को हम लोग फिर से पढ़ेंगे by the question and method. कुछ पॉइंट्स तुम लोग कुछ पॉइंट्स हम देंगे, और इस तरह से हर क्वेश्चंस को हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे. बट इसके लिए तुमको बुक और चैप्टर को रेडीमेड कर रख करके तैयार रहना होगा फॉर एवरी क्लास. इज इट क्लियर? कम ऑन, लेट अस प्रोसीड. All
Yes,
at once,
ma'am.
the church clock struck 12. Then the engines at the same moment, the trumpets of the Prussians, returning the drill, sounded under our windows. And Hammer stood up, very pale in his chair. I never saw him look so tall. आज कुछ जरूरत से ज्यादा ही tall लग रहे थे. Although he was not here, यहाँ tall जो है, ये adjective tall तो है ही, but थोड़ा ज्यादा tall लगना is all symbolic of the emotional tall, the length that he is gathered because of the French language, because of the mother tongue, and the importance that the students want to show it to him that day, that the writer want to say. Then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and with full light he wrote as large as he could, Viva la France, long live. Viva la is long live. Then he stopped and leaned his head against the wall, and without a word he made a gesture to us with his hand. School is dismissed, you may go. तो उसने ये चेंजेस उसने ये देखा, and finally he wrote on the blackboard Viva la France, और इस तरह से उसने अपने लास्ट डे को इतना इम्पोर्टेंट कर दिया, इतना वैल्यूएबल कर दिया. In what sense? That he was successfully able to transform his student Little France. Little France purely transformed हो गया था, पहला. और दूसरा, that we find it that what do we notice? All the citizens of Alsace-Lorraine really understood the importance of mother language, and therefore they decided that they will stick to their language even if there are German dominance and German language. ये बात, ये मैटर जो है कि तुम एक फ्रेंच को और जर्मन बोलोगे, this doesn't suit you at all. इस बात की patriotic feeling through the medium of language, M. Hamel was successfully able to implement in the students, and therefore the class makes the last class. Is it clear to all the students? Is it clear?
Yes,
to all?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
चलो, come on, ask the what orders had come from Berlin. चलो जल्दी बताओ, कुछ questions का आंसर तुम लोग दो. What orders had come from Berlin? What orders had come from Berlin? ये मालूम नहीं है क्या order आया था Berlin से? What did you understand? Recapitulation. What did you learn? Recapitulation. Number one, what did you learn? First thing that you learned in the story, through the medium of Little France, what did you learn? कोई लर्निंग नहीं हुई? क्यों चुप हो तुम लोग आज? Please unmute yourself.
Ma'am, do hard working.
First thing, importance of regular class. देखो तुम लोग नहीं बोल पाते हो. Importance of regular class. Little France regretted. What did he regret? That by the hell he had been ignoring his French classes. So regret नहीं होना चाहिए, पछतावा नहीं होना चाहिए. And therefore, from Little France, you learn that importance of regularity. Regular करना है.
Ma'am, avoid distraction.
Yes, no distraction. No distraction when it comes to at the time of learning. Next. Number two. What did we learn? Importance of mother tongue. चाहे जो भी तुम लोग का मदर टंग है, importance और उसको शब्द नहीं महसूस करना है. Howsoever well spoken you are in English, लेकिन तुमको हिंदी बोलने और हिंदी लिखना आना चाहिए. Although Sanskrit oriented student, तुम लोग को हिंदी बोलना और हिंदी लिखना आना चाहिए. Next, importance of mother tongue. Next, What also did you learn? What also did you learn? फिर चुप हो गए, जल्दी बोलो।
Ma'am, not to be become enslaved of other country.
If you do not learn your language, you will become enslaved to the other country. क्या बोलो? अब तो देखो ये जो प्रेजेंट सिनेरियो, देखो लॉन्ग आंसर क्वेश्चन जो रहता है वो डेफिनेटली कंटेक्चुअल तो रहता ही है, इसके अलावा तुमको वाइडर व्यू में जाना है। जिस समय ये स्टोरी लिखी गई उस समय जर्मनी फ्रांस सब छोटे छोटे टुकड़ों में बटा हुआ था एंड यूनिफिकेशन ऑफ कंट्रीज का चल रहा था उस समय कि कैसे यूनाइट किया जाए। लेकिन आज वो बात नहीं है, आज तुम लोग का कंट्री छोटी छोटी बात नहीं करके कंट्री का फॉर्मेशन हो चुका है। तो अब तुम लोग को बस ये इसमें इसका दो तीन इंपॉर्टेंट बात है, पर एक लिख दिया है तो कि attending as a student you must attend the class regularly and know your profile as a student, as an academics, and don't bunk classes, don't enjoy. If you are not able to understand something, it is better to consult the teacher or the books immediately and make learning enjoyable and not engage yourself in anything other than academics. अगर वो कर रहे हो तो वो regret करोगे. So far as language learning is concerned, go ahead and learn any language in today's scenario. तुमको जापानीज सीखना, जापानीज सीखो, फ्रेंच सीखना, फ्रेंच सीखो, चाइनीज सीखना, चाइनीज सीखो, but remember that you must learn your mother tongue, that is Hindi. ये एक ना एक बार बोल दोगे या सीख करोगे तो जब भी तुम कोई क्राइसिस में होगे it is going to help you all. ठीक है? Anything else? तो ये दो तीन चीजें जो कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. I will conclude the class right now. For tomorrow, be prepared for the language questionnaire classes. All of you, are you listening to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
From tomorrow, questionnaire sessions होंगे और तुम लोग जो हो सो अपने बुक्स के साथ एंड जो भी पूछेंगे भी रेडी विथ योर आंसर. ठीक है? Thank you all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
पेन आप अपने पास में ही रखिए, जो यूज करते हैं वो भी आप अपने ज्यादा बढ़िया रहेगा। यही अभी अपने किसी को करके रखिए।